All right, so we will start talking about lunch today. So, lunch prasadam. So, once again, the purpose of food is to increase duration of life, purify the mind, and aid bodily strength. So, lunch is our main food for the day, and without a good lunch, there is no question of a good strong body. So strength develops with lunch. With the lunch, you have enough time to digest the food because you are still active. And as long as you are active, the food is moving. So when you walk uh, after lunch, in Ayurveda, it states that after lunch, you should walk 100 steps at least. At least 100 steps. But one should not eat too much. Um, we find that in Christianity, gluttony is a sin. Gluttony. So, what do you mean, gluttony? Gluttony means eating all the way to the glut. So, when you eat all the way to the glut, uh, then it's called a sin. Why? Because it interferes with the digestive process. Resume the recording. So, eating till the glut is considered a sin. So, when you eat mitahari, brahmachari, mitahari, it is said one should eat half the hunger that you have. So, what do you mean by half the hunger that you have? So, half the hunger means you eat. There are two things, according to Ayurveda, that help you eat. One is the taste, second is also the state of mind. One should not eat in anxiety. I have to run, I have to run. That's how most people eat. Like in Mumbai, in Bombay, in railway station, everybody is eating, everybody is running for the train. They're eating vada pav very fast. So when you eat very fast, what happens? 50% of your digestion has to take place in your mouth. The food has to be completely secreted with the digestive juice. And if the food, if you cannot uh, eat the food peacefully, then your food will not be soft enough. If you do not chew it properly, if you do not secrete the digestive enzymes, it is right in your mouth. That is why the taste induces more of the digestive juices from your tongue. And that is why in Ayurveda it is said swadu, the taste is given preferences. Why? Swadu, amla, lavana, tikta, ushana, kashaya, the six tastes in Ayurveda. Swadu means slightly sweet. So how should the food be? Slightly sweet. So afternoon you are eating cooked food. The raw diet is not something very easy. Raw diet, sprouts are okay, but even sprouts need to be cooked a little bit, like we spoke yesterday. Ayurveda always talks about Agni Samskar. Now, what is Agni Samskar? Okay, I don't know if you asked me to mute you or unmute you. So I just said, okay. Yes. So, Agni Samskar is the samskar where the nutrients in that food, they come to the digestible level. So basically it is like pre-cooking something, So when you cook something, the digestive process has already started. So you have to cook something just enough. If you overcook it, then it's already gone. So when it enters your stomach, it's already overcooked. If you undercook, then you have a lot, then you need a lot to digest it. But if you cook it just enough, so that is called Agni Samskar. When you cook something just enough. So when you cook something just enough, that becomes ideal, because from then on that Agni, so that is why it's heated. For example, like if you are, I mean here especially in India, if you're driving a car, when you're driving a car in the hot sun, if you're turning on the AC, it takes a little bit of time. It takes a little bit of time for the AC to really kick in. First it gives you hot air, then it gives you. So that is why people pre-start the car. So pre-start the car. So they start the car a few minutes before so that the AC starts running, and then you start the car. And even otherwise, when you start the car, you wait for 5 minutes so for the engine oil to get heated, to get running, and then you take the car. So similarly, when you cook food, when you cook it just enough, the nutrients are there in the food. When you cook it just enough, the nutrients are still there. If you overcook, you kill the nutrients. You heat them off. So it's right there. So what happens? This Agni Samskar makes it just right for the body to take the digestion further. So that is why they say when you cook, within 3 hours if you eat, it is the best. So this is the situation where it is said in Ayurveda, or Prabhupada says that the food should be cooked. Somebody asked this question the other. So somebody asked the question also the other day that that should we eat food in 3 to 4 hours? Why is that? Hmm? So that is because if you uh, eat the food within 3 to 4 hours, the effect of the cooking is still there. The effect of the cooking, that you have cooked it right enough, it is in that state of digestion. It is in the state of Goa. No, it is in the state of digestion. So it's in the state of digestion. So it is right, ripe, ready, just like a fruit. It's overripe, you cannot eat. It's underripe, you cannot eat. It has to be just ripe for you to eat. So cooking. So cooking is also wonderful. It has to be cooked just enough. So like some people like over fry things. They like very fried, deep fried, or they like overcooked. That's all very dangerous. It has to be just enough cooked. So that's the main thing. So Ayurveda doesn't recommend raw diet because it is ruksha. It's dry. ये बहुत ज़्यादा salad, that's also too much. Second, the most dangerous thing of today is people add sugar to everything. Milk mein sugar, usme sugar, isme sugar. Sugar is very dangerous. Second is too much salt is also dangerous. Your salt should be just enough. So too much sugar, too much salt, these are all problems. Because what happens, too much salt too much is also a preservative. Your food remains like Bhagavad Gita as it is in your belly. Because salt slows down your digestion. Why do you use salt to preserve? What happens when you take so much sugar? Why are people dying of COVID-19 in America so much? Too much sugar in the food. You go anywhere in America, at the counter, in India also, this Parle G biscuit, this biscuit, that biscuit. Every chocolate, everything is so sweet. But the swadu is not sweet. Swadu, in Ayurveda it is said swadu, means that which is cooked just enough. Every vegetable is slightly sweet. Every rice, dal, sabji, anything you cook a little bit, it has slight sweetness when you end the cooking. So, what do you call it? So you cook it just enough. It releases its sugar and salt. Every vegetable has its sugar and salt. So that natural taste, when released, it gives you the maximum, the best effect of that food. When you overcook too much masala, that's good diet. That's a good lunch. In general, what do you call happy lunch? But that's not a yogic lunch. Yogic lunch means you are aware. A yogi's lunch is to be aware. One of the first things I did to really write my book was to eliminate rice completely. You can eat rice, I'm not saying no, but rice also in the Vedic, uh, in the Vedic era. Okay, just one more. Let me pause the record. So what happens is when you are not able to cook it just enough, that's when the problem comes in, according to Ayurveda. So according to Ayurveda, when you cook just enough, it gives you the right amount of nutrients, right amount of taste. And every taste has a benefit. So swadu makes you stronger. So that is why when you eat too much fat, you become too fat, because sugar converts into fat. So the first thing you would like to do is reduce sugar, because every vegetable, plant, fruit has its own sugar. So so that is the first thing. Swadu amla. So one of the best foods in India is amla. So if you want to increase your nutrients in the food, then you should eat some amla fruit, amla juice, or even amla powder is very good for controlling sugar, for increasing energy. Swadu amla, lavana, the third, strengthening taste. So they are gradually decreasing. Lavana means salt. So salt is also, little bit of salt also gives you the interest to eat it, because with the more enthusiastic energy, not fast, but with the enthusiasm and taste that you eat it. So that is lavana, third one. Then ushana, then now it gets weakening. Ushana, when you make it too spicy, too hot, what happens? Prabhupada says that is rajasic food. It heats your lining in the stomach. It destroys the lining of cuff. There is a lining, there is a thin lining layer, cuff. So what does this do? It burns away. And when it burns, it actually weakens your body. Ushana. Tikta. Tikta means like very hot. Ushana means temperature also too hot. And chili mirchi also hot. Tikta is again even more hotter. And the last one is kashaya. So when you drink kashaya is when you are sick, when you have cold. So basically, a yogi's food is susnigdha madurahara, slightly sweet. So I mostly take quinoa, barley nowadays. That's it, no rice. And when we take good amount of barley, good amount of quinoa, all these millets, you should ragi, These are all good. Try to reduce white rice, or even if you take rice, basmati rice or red rice, wild rice, this is very good. Hmm? So according to Ayurveda, one should take red rice. Sakajeshu, kajeshu varas tatra. In, I don't know, in Kannada they call it kaje rice. Kaje, red rice, not the pre-boiled rice or the par-boiled rice, but rice, that kind of rice. If you want to make chapati, jowar, bajri, these are all good. Wheat flour, mostly wheat flour. See, wheat is a lot of gluten and it's not so easy to digest also. Why is wheat good? It tastes good. It is a filler. It fills you up very quickly. But the lighter you take that, so you should eat something that is quicker to digest when it is easier to digest. So an ideal lunch, basically, if you have like ragi roti or jowar bajri roti, don't take this bread and everything, ready-made naan, paratha. These are all very heavy. I mean, you can eat it, but that's not yogic, especially naan. Naan is completely white flour. Uh, Naan is just white flour. That's all it is. And this heavy paratha, especially ready-made ones, oh my God. You can imagine what processing they go through. Your hands, when you cook with your hands and when you cook with love, that food can heal you. So when you cook with your own hands and cook with love, the energy goes into that food. So in India, in children, we see they need a lot of starch. So they give for the kids kanji, but you add little ghee. So the ghee, along with that hot ganji, hot rice with that. So that is very beneficial. So that is kanji, ganji, with a little lime, not the chili lime pickle, but the lime pickle. Lime is good, it keeps the body alkaline, but not the chili lime pickle, but just the, I'm sure you would understand that you make the lime pickle. So we have to completely focus on eating something that is uh, healthier for the body and mind. So what is that? Easier to digest, easier to throw. Now, for example, this naan, this heavy paratha that you eat, again depends on the type of work. Naan, definitely no, because it's just a pleasure food. If you really want, uh, even paratha is fine once in a while, but those are all heavy. So one should eat light. I mean, this is, if you are physically working hard, you can digest anything. My grandma used to say, at your age, you should be able to digest stones. I mean, you should work so hard. But we are working like this. Like this is all I do all day. Of course, I do yoga classes, meditation classes, one-on-one, but that's also not physical. So if I eat heavy, that's it. I'm done. So yesterday we made barley soup and we made cabbage uh, cabbage sabji. So it was so nice. I ended up overeating barley soup and cabbage sabji. But next day morning, today I felt earlier. Last night I slept like 12:30, 1 o'clock because after I ate also I was sitting in Vajrasana. I was trying to do the recording for my asana, background voice. So I was sitting up late, but somehow suddenly 5 o'clock I woke up again. It's like, and I feel so fresh. I haven't slept since. I was doing my chanting, whatever, and trying to finish the recording, getting some noise and all this. So you can see that this is when you, that is why if you know the right stretches, the right way to sit, right mood to eat, these are all very important in Ayurveda. That's why I'm emphasizing on the temperature of the food, the amount to eat. So these things also matter. Then it is said, you eat according to your hunger. So how do you test your hunger? So if you're really, really hungry, the best time to eat is when you're really, really hungry. So when you are really, really hungry, so it is said when you are hungry, just drink a glass of water or like a half a glass of water, and you wait for like 10 to 15 minutes. And then if you still feel hungry, that means you are hungry. But after drinking the water, if you feel full, that means it was not really hungry. And this can happen many times. This can happen many a times. So that could be a false alarm throughout the day. I have to eat, I have to eat. No. So focus on a good lunch. So if you do that, then you will not need to eat again and again. And focus on, and when you eat, do not drink water. No water at all. No liquids at all. Except maybe like when you have made payasam or sambar, that's it. But don't add extra water. Don't drink extra water. Patanjali says, not Patanjali, Chanakya Pandit says, water drunk during food and immediately after, water drunk during food, okay, he says like this, water drunk during food, little bit, is nectar. But water drunk immediately after food is poison. It's like when you're eating, your digestive juices are active. Little bit water to kind of move the food is fine. But immediately after food, now your food is being enveloped by the digestive juices and it's trying to digest them, processing. Then you drink water. What happens? All the juices are dilute. Your digestion is finished. And that's when that you do that when you're sick. I remember about 3-4 years ago, I was very sick. And at that time, I realized that this sickness, most of it is because of drinking water immediately after food. So when you drink water immediately after lunch or food, it's so dangerous. It can really weaken you. It can really kill your digestion. So the next thing is when you eat, don't talk too much. I spoke about this yesterday also. Don't talk too much. That affects your digestion. Or don't watch too much that cricket match or some political speech or your phone. And then, because your mind, see, the thing is, your body has limited energy, limited pressure. If you meditate on the food that you eat silently and you focus on the process, you meditate on Paramatma, it's digesting. But wherever you focus, your mind is there, your food is going here. So that is why eating is also an art. You can improve the efficiency of your digestion by 50 to 60%. Prabhupada, so most devotees, they used to put Krishna, what do you call it? Prabhupada's Krishna book. So some devotee would read and others would sit and, if you see in most places, people, they are, if you see in most places, people in the ashrams, in the yoga ashrams, most places, people sit properly, peacefully in one place and eat. They are not in anxiety. So Chanakya also says one should not eat in anxiety. Do not eat when you are in too much stress. It's better to fast. It is said in the Vaishnava etiquette also, if you see a sannyasi and you don't pay obeisances, then you fast, because you need to contemplate on what you did wrong. What instinct was there that within you that you did not pay obeisances to the sannyasi, that you disrespected somebody? For any kind of sinful dream that you get previous night, if you get a bad dream, then avoid lunch. Because the thing is that fasting is one way of purifying. So that is why the 30-day fast that I did completely changed my thinking. I cannot think like before. I cannot eat like before. It completely changed me. That's why this Chandrayana fast that we are offering, I mean, I'm seeing amazing results already. So many people are, their faces are getting very relaxed. It's a wonderful result, because it's not just that you eat less, but also at the same time, you also practice proper yoga, chanting, and meditation. And when you do that over a period of time, you get tremendous results. So that is why lunch being the most important meal of the day. If you see the Japanese drinking tea, they give it such honor. And food is Brahman. Food is energy. Food is your medicine. Food is the blessing of the Lord. Your body is food. It has to absorb into you. It's like you are doing a plastic surgery. So when I do a surgery, if I miss, then the plastic surgery can go wrong. So similarly, when you eat, if your mood is not right, then that can go wrong. So one should sit in a peaceful mood, hungry, and not like some people are sitting in front of each other to eat. Ah, how are you? What are you doing? How is that? The way to eat. You are always talking with each other. So that food doesn't digest. It fills up your belly, and the food will remain as it is. So if you have to really improve, so then your food should consist, for the lunch, you should have protein, carbs, and other nutrients. So basically our rice, dal, sabji. So instead of rice. So like I suggested, practically speaking, good quality basmati rice from India, they mostly export. But if you can find good quality rice, basmati rice, don't use the regular white rice, because they practically remove all the bran from the rice. वो खाली polished rice. It is only polished. There is nothing in that. Red rice is the best, like I said, and try to incorporate bajra roti, ragi roti, all these things in lunch. Keep it nice. And sabji. This is where you should get the good quality sabji. If you are able to get good quality vegetables, that's going to make a very big difference, because vegetables digest quickly, easily. When you cook any vegetable just enough that it releases its nutrients nicely, don't cover it with too many spices. Now some of the vegetables to avoid are avoid tomato as much as you can. Tomatoes are, of course, in our ISKCON, there is a lot of tomatoes and potatoes, because they are easy to make, and they are easily available. But if you want spiritual growth, then avoid them. Because what these foods do, like Prabhupada says, is they jam the air within your body. So what happens when there is a traffic jam? There is no circulation. So when the vata is increased, there is a jam of thought. You cannot really focus. So in Skanda Purana, it is specifically said, don't eat Bengan. In the Skanda Purana, it says, don't take Bengan. So what should you eat? In the Hatha Yoga Pradipika, he says that one should eat leafy vegetables. So leafy vegetables. Okay, what about the traditional rice grown in village fields, which is later pre-boiled? If it is grown organically and fresh, you can get it fresh. But when it is pre-boiled, remember, it's already cooked. Something that is already cooked cannot be offered to the Lord. And it is not good for your stomach. It is good only for hard-working labor, because they can digest anything. But it is not Brahminical. So never eat pre-boiled rice. For that matter, Maggi, 2-minute noodles, ready to cook. What is that? It's already cooked. तुमको थोड़ा गर्म पानी लगाना है, that's all. It's nothing but all processed. So processed means it's already over. Its cooking process is done. Its expiry date is done. It's just there to fill up your belly. Most of what we eat is only filler. That's why nobody has strength today to do the level of meditation that is required. So I was talking about vegetables. So Karela, what do you call that? Bitter gourd. Gourds are good. Like in our temple functions, we used to make these gourds, bada. Or all these snake gourd, bitter gourd, and this loki. These are all very good. Beetroot, raw banana. So these are all very good, so to speak. All leafy vegetables and pumpkin, kaddu, and there are so many varieties. And the green star one, like this. I don't know what you call it. In Konkani we call it gosale. Gosale, it is good. So all green vegetables, beans, even the so for protein, mung beans, mung sprouts are the best. Mung will give all the proteins that the vegetarians need to eat. So mung grains and mung sprouts are the best. So mung, uske baad then there is also among carbs, try to eat more millets for lunch. And lunch, even if basically, how do you know you have eaten half stomach full? When you get the first burp. So after a few days of practice, you will realize this is the burp. That's all you can eat. Your stomach is the size of your fist. You should not feel the heaviness in the belly, which basically we are used to feeling the heaviness in the belly. Today, you look at people's bellies, it's big. No, very few have flat bellies, except if they are like physically active since childhood. Mostly people are all stressed out with big bellies. A big belly is not a sign of prosperity. So also protein is in kala chana, sprout, peas, lot of sprout. But try to get it fresh. Only thing is, try to get a proper source, because if you see in India also, in many places, vegetables, they color. Even the green peas, they color with green dye. It's very dangerous. So you have to wash properly. I remember this was 11 years back when I was in India, in Shimoga, in one place. That doctor couple, they used to buy cauliflower, and they saw the way the cauliflower is grown. So they used to bring cauliflower and wash it with soap water because there is so much pesticide on top. So it's tough. So try to source it. If you source it, that is the first thing. Second is wash it well and cook nicely. So in our cookbook, we have a lot of wonderful, simple dishes. So every sabji, if you cook it just with sesame oil, thoda sa, chonk, you just cook it just enough. It gives all the nutrients. But when you overcook, add too much masala, too much gravy, but too much gravy, see, there is a difference between garam masala and regular what you can eat. So basically, garam masala, if we see, is you mix too many spices together. Instead, if you eat the single ones, I always try to incorporate more ginger, and always try to incorporate more ginger powder is also good, more turmeric. So ideally, your lunch should be something you really look forward to. Worst to worst, if you are not able to make fresh lunch in the morning, then make it previous night worst to worst, but have good lunch. People skip lunch, have dinner. And that is why obesity today is an epidemic. The biggest cause of this pandemic is because of lack of immunity. And that is because of wrong eating habits. Most people that I come across have a very heavy lunch, a very heavy dinner, and this dinner affects your sleep pattern, so it affects your overall health. So you should have a combination of vegetables for vitamins and other nutrients, and enough protein. So peas, black chana, all these things, they have enough proteins, and mung dal, especially mung sprout. And then the carbohydrates, you can get a little bit sama rice. Try to avoid white rice, red rice, wild rice, and you can barley, you can actually make barley regularly. So if you incorporate all of this, if you see the traditional Brahminical lunch, the rice is little. In Udupi, when I was in Udupi temple, if you go, the first thing, they give little rice. My mouth waters when I think of that lunch. Little rice in the Brahmin section, they give more vegetables. So you should eat more veggies, more sprouts. Sprouts, they make like kosumbari, like a salad thing. The cucumber, they cut fine and they boil, and they make a nice sprout and they mix. And like that, in that way, also a lot of leafy vegetables. So even if you make khichdi, like if you see in our book, we have khichdi, but we have like one vegetable, more mung, and little rice. That khichdi is good. In yogi khichdi, it's mostly mung bean, mung, and then you add little rice. So that is real khichdi. And you should take it with ghee. That's when the real energy comes, not butter, with ghee. And it can give you everything you need, and one vegetable or a green vegetable. Therefore, when you eat a balance of that, avoid soy completely. People are very addicted to soy, Nutella, all these things, and these are not, there's nothing in that. It's just heavy, dry, physical uh, fat. That's all. It's all a waste. And third thing is the oils that you use. I explained that yesterday. So always use til oil when you cook, either til oil, coconut oil, or ghee. Everything else is, it's not really, For Ekadashi, of course, one should not cook. But if you have to cook, either cook in coconut oil or ghee, but avoid cooking. So if you maintain a good lunch, and then after lunch, half an hour, 40 minutes after lunch, drink lots of water. The more you drink water, the more it will flush out nicely. The most people have problem because they do not drink enough water or hot water, hot teas, hot ginger tea. So if you do that on a regular basis, and have very little at night, uh, absolutely, I would say about half the quantity of what you have in the afternoon. So then it'll be good. So now I'm open to questions. So you can unmute and ask me questions, or you can chat. Any questions, comments?
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, actually, I wanted to ask, when we cook sweet rice, we have to cook it for a long time. That is, like condense that milk and let the rice cook in that. So is it that the
Is it
nutrition
Okay, what was the question once again? I got. So when you cook the rice,
hello,
yeah.
sweet rice when we have to cook it for a long time means
So sweet rice.
means
So
is
the
it
point is, these kind of things, which are sweet rice, this and that, they are not meant to be eaten as like a full lunch. They are
yes,
meant to
yes,
be eaten
yeah,
in small quantities. That is
yes,
basically for the Lord. Remember. So these kind of
okay,
specialities, especially sweet rice, which takes a long time to cook and all that.
yeah,
See, when you are young, it's fine. You can digest stones. But once you cross 30 nowadays, that's it. Everybody's
yeah,
digestion is finished by that time because of drinking
hmm.
limca, thumbs up, and all these things. So then what happens is this sweet rice and all the sweets. See, Prabhupada in the beginning, he made pakoda, he made gulab jamun, everything. But then he wanted his devotees to be simple in eating, not that they
Hmm.
eat gulab jamuns for the rest of their life. Mm. So these sweets, these savories are good in small quantities. I mean,
Okay,
1 2 spoons or a little bit like a small bowl, right? So they are always given in the
okay,
end. Mm. So
okay,
too much flour and all these things, sweets. So your regular main lunch should be this: either beans, legumes, more
okay,
sabji, and
yes,
you know, one or two of these bajra roti, jwa roti, more vegetables, more dal, more soup. Like, you know, you can make a lot of soups also: pumpkin soup, vegetable soup. That's where you get your nutrients. This is for taste, thoda man ki shanti, you know.
hmm, hmm, hmm.
Sweets, nobody eats
And
sweets in large quantity. Sweets are there just like in
yes,
the end
yeah,
for a savory, you know. That's
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah. Once in a while I make it, Prabhuji. And one more thing is like I make naan of whole wheat, but very not regularly, like maybe once in 2 or 3 months like that. So is it okay? Means
Yeah,
I make
yeah.
it with whole wheat flour.
See, festival, anything is fine, right? So once in a
Yeah,
while,
okay.
to in a festival time, thoda khane mein, you know, you need variety. So once you eat too much sattvic, we are in rajas also. So once in once in a while we can be rajasic, but then you have to come back to sattvic mode. So, but if you
Yeah.
regularly do that, that's the problem. You know,
No.
just
Okay.
just like paneer, it's not like it's an outcast. But the point is, once in a while, ठीक है. You know, it's still okay. But then every day, every weekend, every festival, every Sunday feast, you are having that only. You know, like I see menu.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know, somebody posted menu a few days ago. It was like, oh my God, you know, कितना खाएंगे? It won't affect you
Yeah.
now. Remember, what you eat now what you do now will affect you 20 years later.
Yes.
What you eat now is affecting you 20 years later. So if somebody gets some disease 20 years later, 20 years pehle ka diet analyze karna. So that's how
Yeah.
it is. Hmm? Okay, so there's Hare Krishna
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. For diabetic patients, what is the kind of grain vegetables are allowed? Can they consume jaggery or stevia? So for diabetic patients, basically, you should eat something which gives less sugar. So basically, for diabetics, you should take mornings. My suggestion is fenugreek, methi sprouts. Methi, either you can soak overnight and you can juice it and take methi juice, or you can make methi sprout and saute it. The third thing is the take more vegetables. Take more vegetables. थोड़ा fruits कम करना है. You should avoid mango, banana, pineapple, all these things which have a uh, lot of sugar. So basically you eat those kind of veggies. But most important thing for a diabetic, it is basically type 2 diabetes is because of stress. Today it is hardly easy to find a good leader, anybody in a manager or anywhere. They only treat people as labor, and what they do is they stress people out. They stress ke wajah se your digestion, your pancreas goes weak. So stress over a long period of time, it kills your digestion. So basically you have to revive your digestion. So for diabetics you have to practice yoga. Chandrayana can completely reset your digestion, especially for diabetics, and it can really change your digestive levels. So that is why I always recommend Chandrayana, and we have a few diabetics also, and I'm focusing on resetting their so because when you eat, if you meditate on the pancreas, actually there is a lot you can gain by meditating on the pancreas. So you need exercise, and in the diet, so basically good lunch, and sitting lot in Vajrasana, so that your digestion is good. And basically also avoiding white rice and chapatis. Best is bajra roti, jowar roti, all these things. They are very good for diabetics. Avoid ragi also. Jowar, ragi roti, then take a lot of sprouts, more vegetables. Those are very good actually. Okay, what about rice roti? Akki roti? My kids love it. That's good for kids. And they are the same quality as rice though. Akki roti, see, anything made with flour. See, anything for the kids should be more starchy. You are in the kapha phase of life. But for the adults, it should be more easily digestive. So basically anything cooked traditionally hot, fresh is definitely good. But in general, the quantity matters. So if you add more ginger, like green veggies into it, all that, it makes it nice, you know. So basically what you eat along with that, right? Green veggies, digestive, you know, like even if you make that lime pickle, not without that chili, of course. I am surprised that I cannot eat chilies anymore after my fast. That was the best thing that happened. I tried eating one piece, and it was like, oh my God, I cannot eat chilies anymore. So it is, so basically, when you take that also, the mood with which you eat and everything, so that, and the exercise, what you do, everything influences. So in that case, if your digestion is good, yes, little bit of these things are good. But in general, stick to millets, stick to more veggies, you know. So Karela fried, rava fry with coconut oil is okay for lunch. Yes, Karela is very good. And fried means depends on the level of frying. Like we said, if it is just enough cooked, usko, some people like I used to like not deep fry. Okay, thanks for clarifying. Like I used to like that tondli. Tondli is good. Tondli bindi is good. Okay, I forgot those names because we don't get them easily here. So tondli, when you fry, like I used to like it like really black, really over fried. उसमें कुछ नहीं है. So when you fry it, it's only taste. So fry, when we say, it should be just enough, you know, that it is cooked. So basically, we are trying to give it Agni Samskar, not burn it. So when you give Agni Samskar, it cooks just enough. For lunch, tur dal or mung dal with basmati rice. So best is mung dal. Prabhupada called mung dal brain dal, and tur dal as for body. Tur dal is physical dal. It gives you nutrients, protein for the body, and mung dal is protein for the brain. So we want to have better brain than body. Brain is mightier than the sword, right? So more mung dal, yes, mung dal sprout. Tur dal sometimes is also nice. Like in our Konkani, we make dalitoi. So the famous dalitoi is with turda. So it's really nice and it's so tasty. So yeah, both are fine. What about avial? Now, avial means what is avial means? I think it's veggies, right? Veggies, sabji. I guess
Yeah,
I don't
Prabhuji,
really.
yesterday you said that we should not mix too much of vegetables also.
Correct. Okay, now I understand the question. So avial, yeah, do not mix more than two or three, maximum two. Rupa Goswami says that don't mix too many vegetables. So what happens is each vegetable has its own protein and it has its own cooking point. It has its own taste. So when you mix too many, so there are too many tastes. Your stomach also gets confused. कौन सा digest करूं? Like, right, you know. So if you mix like we used to have in childhood, beans, potato, you know, like that. Yeah, beans, cabbage. So one or two is fine, like the same style. Then it is good for the belly. But please try to uh, try to avoid mixing too many vegetables. That is like more for taste. It's not Ayurvedic. Okay.
Prabhuji,
Mhm.
usually Ayurveda recommends that we should eat whatever is available within 200 kilometers wherever we are staying, wherever
Mhm.
we are there. So it differs, no? Like in Goa, we use lot of coconut in our food, and boiled rice is also like Goans use lot of boiled rice also. Evening time we eat in summer days we eat kanji of boiled rice. I want more clarification on this.
See, definitely the vegetables and rice and everything that grows in the local area, definitely they are very, very beneficial. But suppose amla doesn't grow in your place, that doesn't mean you don't eat amla. Amla is the best to eat. So
Yeah.
medicine from anywhere is food. Okay. So
Okay.
that is good. And see and the thing was that previously the local area and mostly people were cultivating on their own, and at that time too much of importing was also not there. Now something which is when you are in a particular environment and that fruit and vegetable is grown in that particular environment, it definitely gives you the energy of that particular place and enhances it, you know. So we have to realize that. So definitely there is benefit with that. uh, that is true, but nowadays if good things are not available, then what do you do? Like here, Las Vegas, nothing grows. I mean, there is something grows, but something grows, but not like we grow rice. Everything comes from outside, but still we are alive, you know. So, so
Prabhuji, I also wanted to ask about dahi. I heard in one video that we should not uh, boil dahi, meaning even when we are preparing dahi curry, once the tarka is given, we should turn off the flame. But usually in cakes and
okay.
all, they
I,
put, yeah.
Ayurveda states what is the best thing to eat is the fresh dahi. So fresh dahi nikalta hai na? It says that is the best. Yeah, in Indian Railways they give you dahi which feels like it was from Satyuga or no, or from Dwapar Yuga. Just from Dwapar Yuga, it's completely gone, khatta. So then when you cook it, do this, do that. So to that degree, its energy reduces. So dahi and all that. So then people, of course, they are used to making this kadhi, this, that, all these things. But in general, dahi should be taken fresh. Hmm? We have to realize that definitely it does matter to uh, us the kind of cooking that we do. So this kadhi and all that. So these things are once in a while. It's fine, but Ayurveda states dahi should be taken fresh. Cooking dahi, all these things once in a while it's okay. But if you see Brahminical food, Udupi Brahmins, especially very Ayurvedic, South India, the traditional cuisine is still there. There's hardly many dishes with cooked dahi. It's like very
Huh.
rare. Hmm? So
Yes, Prabhuji.
they take direct fresh dahi with the rice, curd rice. So direct curd is very, very digestive. Hmm? So yes, your point is right. Cooking is not very good. So so I have to wind up in 10 minutes. I'll try to quickly answer all the questions as everyone is asking. Moong dal should be completely cooked. How much can we mash it completely? Yes, it should be completely cooked. Don't overcook it. You can mash it also, but don't make it too soft. Too much cooking, all the nutrients they boil away. So it should be cooked just enough. Just remember the principle. It should be cooked just soft enough, not too soft,
Okay.
not like
Okay.
hard also, but it should not be, you know.
Means it should not become like puree. Means it should remain as a dal intact.
Yeah. It should not become like water also, you know. So it should be
Yeah.
rightly cooked. How to reduce belly? So main thing about belly is to stop eating at night. Night eating is what is the cause of belly. The second way to reduce belly is plank. Just go on YouTube and find out plank. Plank is the best way to reduce belly. That's what I also did. In my fast, I fasted, but along with that, I did plank. And when I did plank first day, oh my God. And you go, I can show you, I can share in the group 4 exercises to reduce the belly, the plank, and there are 2 or 3 exercises. If you do that, even if you do plank for a minute, it's amazing. Hmm? Okay, so the next is should poha suji items. Poha is heavy. Poha is very heavy. It's not a yogic food. Many people whom I interviewed for my Chandrayana, they were eating poha in the morning. Abhi aur bacha kya? It's literally putting a stone in your belly. It's literally you are giving a big momentum to eat. So your digestion is going, it's like the pressure is high. So when you eat heavy, anything is such heavy items, you eat very little is okay, just a little. But we have very little control. So mornings have, it's another transformation of rice. So poha once in a while is fine, or once in a week or something like that. But on a regular basis, it is heavy on digestion. I've seen poha is like is very heavy. Suji is fine, but you make it fine. Like you have to cook it very nicely, softly. If you don't cook suji well enough, I had in Mangalore temple when I was very young. My one of the temple president one day did not cook the suji well enough. He was in the hospital. So suji rava should be cooked very nicely. They should be nicely steamed, and that if you overcook a little also it's fine. But don't dalia, all these things, wheat things, they should be nicely cooked. But don't undercook it. Similarly, poha also, it should be cooked very nicely. And that is another transformation. So if your digestion is weak, avoid it. If your digestion is good, you can take it in moderate quantity. Thank you, Jyotiji. Nice question. So can we eat frozen amla? Yes, definitely we can eat frozen amla. Amla in any form is good. So and amla murabba, but of course they add sugar to it. That's not good. That reduces your immunity. But amla, when they give it frozen, it still has its nutrients. Like for diabetics, they make this that um, what do you call that fruit? That blue wala aata hai na, the jamba fruit, we call it jamun fruit. That seeds you powder and make it into a juice, or the jamun fruit. You only get it frozen here. So that is also very good, for example. But do you get it frozen? What else to do? Only in Florida you get it fresh. Yeah, when I went to Florida, we went to a public park full of jamun trees, and all devotees, we were all just pulling jamun and eating fresh jamun next 3 days. So um, that is good. Yes. I soak them in salt and lemon water and eat every day one. Yes, that is also very good, because amla in any form, it has wonderful, wonderful energy. So yes, that is fine. But the fresher you eat, it's better. I would say lemon water is fine. You can reduce the salt maybe or avoid the salt, but lemon is good. So lemon and what was that? Yeah, salt and lemon water. So lemon is good, but at salt you can reduce or avoid if possible. Haldi is good, yes. Try to add more haldi into all your foods, because haldi is very healing to the stomach. It reduces aches and pains in the body. Haldi is certainly very, very good. So yes, that's a nice question. So Prabhuji, my mother is a diabetic and she feels very strong hunger sometimes. She's asking what to eat during that time. So basically, when you are very hungry, uh, one is to drink hot tea. Number one, hot tea, matlab not this caffeine tea, but the teas that we have. The cinnamon to control sugar. Cinnamon, boil cinnamon every morning. Cinnamon or haldi या थोड़ा सा खाली cinnamon भी stick अगर boil करें, that reduces sugar levels, that controls sugar levels. Drink a lot of water. And when you are very hungry, one of the best things that I discovered for diabetics is barley or vegetable soup or steamed vegetables or just stir fried veggies. Try to avoid heavy grains which take a lot to digest because they have less sugar also. So that is good. What type of salt to use in cooking? Also considering iodine content needed for the body. Sea salt is the best. I don't know, this Himalayan pink salt is also good, but sea salt already contains iodine, so you don't have to have iodized. So sea salt is very, very good. Generally, we use sea salt because sea salt has everything. And also, if you want to improve the thyroid for the iodine, so for thyroid, you have to do reverse poses. What is that? Sarvangasana. When I have amla or even dahi, my vat increases and I get amla. Okay, my vat increases and I get pain in the legs. So, so avoid it, because basically that is not suiting your body, at least for the time being. So something that doesn't suit you, if you avoid for some time and you focus on exercise, after some time it will get better. After some time it will get better. So if you can for that you have to balance the vat first. So that is by asana pranayam. If you can do, we will do this in our practice. Yeah, what is the type of salt to use in cooking? Yeah, I already answered that. I have gallbladder stone and umbilical hernia. Can you suggest what to avoid? So avoid eating heavy. For gallbladder stone, you have to take more prune fruit. I don't know if you get prune in India. The things that throw out papaya. You should take a lot of papaya because it pushes. And you should drink a lot of sabja water. If you don't get chia, I think you get chia in India. You need a lot of water, sabja water. So pani jitna piyenge, that gradually that gallstone will melt. And this hernia, you have to wait till it heals, but then you have to strengthen the belly with plank and all the other exercises. You have to strengthen the belly. So for thyroid problem, you have to do as I said, reverse poses. You have to do Shirsasana, Sarvangasana, all these things. So when you do that on a regular basis, all that will heal. Okay, any diet to reduce hypothyroid? So basically, we do that more by exercise. So we do that by exercises, and we have to so we have to do more Sarvangasana, Shirshasana, reverse poses, and calm ourselves down. Thyroid is nothing but anxiety, stress. So if you do that, gradually it will calm you down. So you have to do more deeper breathing and things like that. Okay, so I have another class starting right now. I have to end for now, and I would request all of you to exit the meeting, and because the other devotee is just joined. So we will continue tomorrow at the same time. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna Mataji.